What is up? It is your main guitar instructor, Miles, and I'm going to briefly cover guitar pick thickness and how important it is and whether or not it's even a consideration. And in my experience, it is. And we're going to be talking about thin, medium, heavy, and extra heavy picks. And of course, there are other factors that play into choosing a pick, such as the pick material and the pick shape. But I'm not going to worry about that too much. There's a link in the description below that dives a little more into choosing a guitar pick and guitar pick thickness, and there's a cool pick thickness chart. But let's look at the guitar picks we're using today. So here I have a Fender thin pick, and then I have this medium 0.73 James Hetfield pick, and then I have a Jazz 3 Dunlop XL, and lastly I have my favorite pick ever, the Big Stubby. So what we're going to do is first, we're just going to listen to a thin pick. And so here's what a thin pick sounds like. Okay, now let's listen to the extra thick pick. Can you hear a difference there? Now, if you listen to this thin pick, there's a lot of flap. And with the thick pick, it's a lot smoother. You don't hear that flapping sound. Now let's listen to the medium pick. There's a little bit of flapping, but not too much. And then the heavy pick. Honestly, I don't think there's much of a difference between the heavy pick and the extra heavy pick. Let's listen. Yeah, they sound virtually identical. So you can kind of conclude that between 1mm and 3mm, you're going to eliminate that flap. But if you're below, I'm going to say 0.88, which is, kind of a medium heavy size, then you're probably going to get some flap. And you're especially going to get some flapping with the thin guitar picks. And then the next thing to address in terms of thickness is, you got to think about your playing style. Of course, if you're just doing strumming patterns, then you might actually want to use a thin pick as an acoustic guitar player. Hear how smooth that sounds, how bright. Versus the Big Stubby. Now, I'm not gonna lie, it's a little louder, but it's not quite as soft. That's almost a harp sound. So those are the differences in terms of sound with a thin and a thick pick. And like I say, as you start to get to the medium size picks, it's exactly what you'd expect. It's kind of in between the heavy and the thin pick. And lastly, what I want to address is speed, precision, accuracy, because choosing your guitar pick depends on the genre you're playing and the techniques that you're applying. So for example, if you're playing really fast tremolo picking, what do you think is going to sound better? Is the flappy thin pick going to sound better? Or is the thick pick going to sound better? As you can see, the thick pick sounds better. And it's because it's not flexible, right? And I've heard this compared to a rubber pencil before. Would you write on a paper with a rubber pencil? Or do you want a sturdy pencil? Because whenever you start to write fast with that rubber pencil, what's going to happen? It's not going to be accurate and it's going to move. And so that's that's another consideration for thin pick versus heavy picks. So anyways, that's it for today's video. Luckily, picks are really inexpensive and cheap. And so you can go try out a bunch at a local music store. And like I say, I was using just a Fender thin pick, and then this James Hetfield medium Ultex, and a Jumbo Jazz 3, and lastly, my favorite pick ever, the Big Stubby. And the Big Stubby is really cool. I like acrylic picks in general, and I like thick picks because I'm a very fast player, you know. I love to play shred guitar, I love metal guitar, I love fusion guitar, and even for those quick blues licks, you sometimes need to use those thick picks to get in those quick blues lines. So anyways, that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching, and definitely comment what type of pick you like to use, the brand, the shapes, the materials, the thickness. You know, let me know in the comments below, and please like the video and share it if you can. And lastly, subscribe if you want to see more awesome guitar content. All right, rock on.